broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, and welcome to the Constantine AfterBuzz After Show. I'm your host, Yael Tygiel. If you are online, make sure you have subscribed on youtube.com/AfterBuzz. Also, we're on iTunes and SoundCloud. Subscribe there as well. And if you're on the Twitter, you can tweet at us using hashtag ABTVConstantine. You can tweet at me at Yael Tygiel, that's YAELTYGIEL, and my co-host, Tauri J. Miller.
Hey, you can find me on Twitter at TauriJ, that's TAURIJAY.
Awesome. Let's jump into Constantine, Season 1, Episode 12, the almost finale, Angels and Ministers of Grace. What'd you think of this episode overall?
Overall, I thought it was really interesting. Like, they got me a couple times with their misdirect, so I liked that.
Yeah.
I like being surprised. And also, I felt like it was a good episode for Manny, especially as much as we bagged on him this whole season.
I loved Manny this episode.
Yeah.
I also like what we put him through. He had to feel pain and guilt and shame and
embarrassment,
arousal.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. All of that, yes. Before we get to Manny, because I really want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Zed.
Okay.
So we start off and Zed wants to be alone and she's meditating and trying to kind of focus. And then when we see her finally when we're dealing with what's going on, she touches the victim and she has that first premonition.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think that was when you saw it?
Well, I was assuming that this new drug, was going to be like angel's blood. And so she's feeling the angel's blood running through her body, and that's what the black veins are.
Cool.
Right? But it wasn't that. It was something different, which was equally great. But
I'm really sad it wasn't that. Now I want that.
I mean, because we had the breadcrumbs laid before, where it's like you take something from an angel and bad things happen.
Right.
So I figured that was the case. But I mean, it was more of a premonition of the future, which I'm not sure if we've gotten so far. Like, we've gotten things that are like dream-like visions that she's had to interpret that leads her somewhere, but I don't think she's had direct causal visions.
Yeah, that's true. When we saw it, I don't know why my instinct was like, oh, an angel's going to come down and save them. Like, what is there to interpret here?
Right.
I guess because every time until this, everything was like, you need to interpret it. And I'm like, there are pennies falling. I wonder what that means.
Right.
Like, so I think this time I was like, yeah, okay. And then it happened, and I was like, oh, that never happens.
Right.
So you're right. We haven't seen that before, which is great. And this episode was a lot about her questioning where her powers came from, because she has a seizure, and it turns out she has tumors, which I feel like that's a common thing in stories with someone who has psychic abilities. Yeah. Is that they have seizures, or they have a tumor, or they, something. Yeah. There's a medical reason to explain, or that relates to, or...
Yeah, like, basically, you can explain it away with science, but and so it always makes them question the validity of their gift, and also if it's actually a gift, or if it's something that could potentially kill them, is it worth maintaining? Yeah. Or if it's something completely separate.
Right. And she keeps asking Manny, is it a gift from God? Is it from somewhere else? Oh, Manny. Why can't you just answer her gosh darn question?
That's not how angels work.
Yeah, especially Manny.
Yeah.
This episode we got to see him. You want to say something about him?
No.
Oh.
Not yet.
Okay. This episode we see him actually, again, help, where he straight up is like, here's where you're going. Like, thanks, Manny. And he also burns up the scry map.
Yeah, what a jerk.
I loved that he did this.
Really?
Because so far we've had 11 episodes that have been almost entirely, oh, there's something on the map, we need to go there.
Right.
And like sets us up where we're going. And I like the idea that now what do we do? Now we don't have this crutch.
Yeah. Well, I get that from a storytelling standpoint because it like makes our characters go into a new territory. However, if you have this all-knowing or semi-all-knowing deity, half-deity servant, then why not just be like, all right, here, I know I destroyed your map, but here are some leads. Have a good time. I feel like you can't be cryptic and you can't take away someone else's tools.
Well, you don't like that he's like, I'm not going to help you. Also, this isn't going to help you either.
Right.
Now you're screwed.
Yeah, that's like having someone be like, hey, do you want to, you're going to build this house. And they're like, okay, cool, I have this blueprint. And you're like, no, forget your blueprint. You build it from memory. And he's like, okay, can you tell me how to build the house? No.
Awesome.
I'm not going to give you tools either.
Yeah.
I hate you.
I was like, he's going to take away the tools. And then he's going to keep throwing things to break the house down as you build it.
Right.
That is a great analogy. Oh, Manny. What an angel.
And yeah. Though I thought like it was weird because the last episode we had Manny showing up basically super duper willing to help. And in this episode, he came in like a ball of flames, just really adamant that John isn't doing enough. And I thought they had established a friendship, and then he came in not that.
I disagree. I think he came in to, yes, telling John he's not doing enough, but he also was trying to get across. He says, the darkness it's here. Like, it's happening.
Yeah.
You need to stop relying on this map. You need to do something. Because the S has hit the fan. The has hit the fan, man. Like, you got to do something. And I think he was more not being a jerk, but pushing a little more. Like, come on, you can do it. Stop relying. I feel like the map was a crutch.
Was it?
A little bit.
I mean, though he says, yeah, it's all around us. But yeah, weird stuff happens all the time. Like, how else is he supposed to figure out all across America where things are happening? Yeah. I mean, at least then he had somewhat of a finite amount of places that things could be happening. But like now it's just like, well, okay, cool. You can only go as far as you can taste, touch, smell, or sense.
I feel like what I would have liked before we got rid of the map was for him to go somewhere where it's like bleeding and he knows that he needs to go there, and him not be able to find out what's happening or find the problem. Because I feel like that would be so cool to see. He goes to this small town and he's this stranger coming in and nobody will tell him what the odd thing is.
Right.
So he has to not only find it and then figure out what the problem was, but like he's kind of screwed.
Yeah.
I would have liked that before we got rid of him.
Yeah.
But it's gone now.
But now I think it will allow him to rely on Zed a little bit more. Because we've been led places where she gets a vision of the snake.
Yeah.
And then they go basically where that vision took them. So maybe she's their new scry.
Yeah. They kind of like took Liv and were like, remember her? No more of that. We're done. We have Zed now.
Yeah.
Zed who may be dying. May have a
potentially.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like they set it up that she is dying.
Yeah.
I don't see her dying within the next 5 seasons.
Right.
You know?
Well, my question is like, what happens if they do remove the tumor? I mean, we don't know if it's connected. And also, like, it's a metaphysical thing, psychic abilities are.
Right.
So having a tumor doesn't necessarily, negate that.
But I don't think she wants it removed.
But why wouldn't she? Just in case?
Yeah.
Maybe. But, like, the world that she's already a part of the world being this secondary world that all the crazy stuff happens. And I know that losing your gift is it's a bummer. But, like, I mean, she's part of the team. And even though her main usefulness is her psychic ability, she's also proven herself useful in other ways.
That's true.
So I I'm like, if you're getting headaches, dear, take care of it.
I mean, if she loses, let's say they remove the tumor and she loses her powers, I feel like Constantine would be like, oh, okay, so you're just some girl who comes and hangs out with us now. Thanks. Like, you took away the main reason I needed you or cared for you. And I think that would be an interesting way to get them to become closer.
Perhaps. Though, like, the scene where he's telling Manny to fix it, to me, I read that as, like, he doesn't care what happens to her abilities. He now sees her as a friend and someone he cares about.
I feel like he would resent her if she did this. Like, he wants her safe and he wants her healthy. He also wants her to be psychic. Right? Like, I think he wants, and I think he wouldn't realize, and this is just me based on my opinion.
Right.
I have no information to back this.
Yeah.
But I feel like if she were to lose her powers, he would resent her. That is what I believe.
Maybe.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to Manny.
All right,
So-
Manny.
Okay. So Manny becomes human, which is so good, and apparently is in the form of Dr. Bob Carroll,
Yeah.
who is having an affair with the nurse. And she, oh my God, that scene where she's leaning over him on the computer and then touches his hand, he looked terrified and aroused all at once.
Right.
Amazing performance.
Yeah. I will say, like, yeah, the acting was great because he's playing a character who has never really inhabited a body on Earth
Right.
with all of it. I mean, he's done it for short periods of time, and it's always been in his control.
Yeah.
And so, like, even just the way that he walked was great because it was so abnormal. It really added a nice little touch to it.
Yeah. And just her touching him and him being like, what is happening? And then they go into the closet. Manny gets a blowjob.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. We have complained about this show not having enough cigarettes, not having enough drinking, which I'm sad Isaac isn't here to give us cigarette watch because there were a ton of cigarettes this episode.
Yeah. I'll do it for you. Cigarette Watch 2015.
Is that your Isaac?
That's my Isaac.
Okay, keep going.
Now I'm subconscious about it. We had about 3 or 4 cigarettes this time around. So I think it's really good. We're really progressing. He even mentions it by name that he likes to smoke cigarettes. So it's a very good thing.
Good job.
Thanks.
So Manny, when he's Dr. Bob, where was I? Blowjob.
Yes, blowjob.
Guys, I did not expect that. I expected them to make out. I expected maybe a shirt open.
Right.
I did not expect her to get down on her knees and then to stay down there. Right? Like, that was a very surprise. I don't know about you all, but that surprised the S out of me.
Right. Well, I was wondering, like, how they were gonna play this scene out. Like, if he was gonna stop it and be like, I can't.
Right.
But like having her be the aggressor and like basically go down.
Not basically. She went down.
Yes.
And then he was like, oh, right now. Okay.
Yeah. It was well played.
Yeah.
Hats off, writers.
It was beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Also, he gets, later in the episode, he gets cut.
Yeah.
And then he's our savior this episode. So I appreciated that at the end when Zed figures out what they need to do to solve this problem. Constantine says, I've never asked you for help. And then he prays.
Yeah.
And Manny comes down in angel form and forgives what he brings home. He brings home our villain. He says, your place at rest awaits. Your work here is done. All of these lines are not in the right order, but I wrote them all down.
But they exist.
Yeah. And he takes him to heaven.
Yeah.
What did you think about that? You seem...
Well, I was like, did he take him to heaven? I mean, he took him away. I mean, there's no telling. He could have just dropped him in the gates of hell.
I don't think that's how that works.
I think it is. Because, like, this character killed people.
Right.
He was possessed by dark matter. Like, there's no way he's getting past those pearly gates, man.
I think so. All right. Well, we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot to talk about.
Right.
But first, I want to take a moment.
Go for it.
I'm going to take a moment. Guys, thank you so much for listening and downloading, streaming. Thank you for sticking with us all season. We are almost at the season finale, and we appreciate you guys. If Isaac were here, he would read off a shout out. Unfortunately, he's not here, and I don't have him. So thank you for anyone who commented. You will get a shout out next week on the finale. We have a question in the chat roll, which we will take in a moment. Before we do that, I want to remind everyone that we are on iTunes. You can go onto iTunes and subscribe, of course, and then rate and review us. If you like us, give us 5 stars. If you don't, you are amazing that you've been sitting through this long. But give us 4 stars, leave a comment, let us know what we're doing well, what we're doing better. Let's take a question from the chat roll.
It's just one, but a lot of them are talking about it.
Yeah.
It's, where did it go? Oh, is it true that there is not going to be a season 2 of Constantine?
So here's what we know about Constantine. The first season is 13 episodes, which means next week is the finale. Mm-hmm. But that does not mean that we have been canceled. NBC may bring back season 2. Also, there are new rumors and lots of talks about Constantine moving to sci-fi, which would be amazing.
Yeah, it would be so well suited there.
I was like, that's not a sentence.
So much well served is what I was going for.
Uh-huh.
It would served so much better.
Yeah, we could have more cigarettes, more drinking, and more blowjobs.
Yes.
And that's what we all want in life. More of that. Thank you for the comments.
It was from Boo69Bs.
Hey, Boo69Bs.
Nice.
I love you. Just that name is so good. Okay. All right, let's talk about what I've been calling the second chance demon.
Okay.
So this is we find out it's Dr. I wrote his name.
His name is
Dr. Galen. Boom.
Yes.
He's a military doctor. Mm-hmm. He was in Baghdad, and he is attacking people who were given second chances and are kind of throwing them away.
Yeah.
I was like, how do I say this politely? Yeah. So, the first person was someone who was sober, and she went to get more drugs. The second one was the alcoholic.
Yeah, it was the janitor. Yeah.
Then we had the guy with the face.
Mm-hmm. Mr.
Jerkface?
Yes, Mr. Jerkface Morris.
Yes, that's his name. And then in the end, Zed, who of course was fine.
Right.
But there are people who've been given second chances, and he's like, F that, you were wasting them. Mm-hmm. So I think that Manny was taking him to heaven, especially because, so yes, he is murdering people.
Yes.
But I think that was unintentional because of the Black Diamond.
Okay.
So the story, for those who missed it, was that there was a sorcerer destroying the world. God killed him, and his dark power hardened into a black diamond, which an angel's fiery sword shattered into pieces, so no one could have it. No man could have it. So no one man could have it.
Right.
Those are the words I'm looking for. And then the great flood, Noah, anyone? Spread the pieces across the world. So because the Dr. Galen served in Baghdad, and there was a piece there, and he got hit, and there was shrapnel, and it was the Black Diamond.
Yeah.
I think that is what caused him to become this second chance demon.
Okay.
And that he himself, because he is this doctor, because he's this good guy, and he's trying to help people, as we saw when Manny came down, he wrapped him in his wings, and I'm going to assume God's love. He became less of the demon. He undeformed.
Okay.
And was back to Dr. Galen. Therefore, hence 2-4, he went to heaven.
So you're saying it's like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of thing, and that but he is unconscious of his Hyde side.
Yeah.
So Manny essentially took him as a whole being, cured his Hyde, and then took him to heaven.
Yeah, because we saw the Black Diamond fall and shatter into pieces and then get attracted to the other one in the box.
Yes.
Yes.
I will accept that.
Okay.
But I have an issue with the Black Diamond and its existence on Earth, because it seems like this ultimate evil. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh my gosh, all the angels gathered and God struck this person from on high.
Yeah.
They destroyed this diamond, but just kind of left it there, and then a flood took it.
So they destroyed the diamond into pieces.
Right.
And I'm going to assume that they thought that because it was pieces, it would be okay.
Uh-huh.
That's my assumption. Also, did this diamond not remind you of the thingies from Guardians of the Galaxy?
Like one of the
purple stony things, yeah. The stones.
Man, let the comments begin.
The stones.
Infinity Stones, yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm looking for. Thanks. What did I do? I'm
Nothing.
sorry.
Nah,
I'm sorry, everyone.
It did remind me of an Infinity Stone.
Okay, especially when Chaz held it.
Yeah,
And,
and
like,
it got all
yeah.
veiny and all that stuff.
I was like, I've seen this one, and it has Lee Pace in it. I got excited. I like Lee Pace.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'll accept that he went to heaven because he was essentially cleansed of the dark matter inside of him.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with that.
Okay. Little minor detail. Once he's cleansed of that,
Yes.
and Manny takes him, Dr. Galen isn't dead. Mm-hmm. So Dr. Galen, a live person, an angel was like, nope, your time is up, and just took him.
Well, you could argue
Please argue.
that maybe what happened was, so it was a reenactment of what originally happened with the diamond, in that the light that came down when Manny showed up was like the cleansing light that originally created the diamond. So it obliterated his body and made him into the diamonds that fell, and then those joined in with the diamonds we already had.
Okay. But Galen, so you think that Galen had to be...
So yeah, his physical body had to be destroyed.
Okay.
And then his soul went to heaven.
Got it. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I will accept that.
All right.
Okay. So God killed Dr. Galen.
He cleansed him.
Sure. All right. And this black diamond, similar to the Infinity Stone. What did you think of this concept of it? Because we've had this Heart of Darkness, condensed evil in a heart thing. We had that in The Angel Who Fell way back in the day. Mm-hmm. So, The Angel Who Fell in that episode from the past, not the Angel Who Fell way back in the day.
Right, not the Morning Star.
Not Satan.
Yeah.
So what do you think of this condensed evil that seems to be a thing?
I think that I think it should have been a little more policed, but I thought it was
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool. Like when they initially explained it, I thought that it was going to be the drug. Like someone had taken some of the black diamond,
and
grated
put
it
it
up and
into
put it into a drug.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like that.
So
Not as much as I like the first thing with the angel blood.
right.
Yeah.
So I think the concept is really cool because it's basically going, here's a piece of ultimate evil. What will people do with it? And like ultimately, the character that we had that had it, he was trying to do what he thought was good,
Yeah.
even though it was a big murderous, raging rampage. But like, so even with this darkest of dark matter, he's still trying to do good.
I like that. I like that we have a villain who thinks he's doing right.
Yeah.
I don't think we've had that. I mean, I know we have in our last one where he had his own place and was like, I'm going to just murder people.
Right.
Yeah. I think this is the first villain we had who's trying to do right.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I like the idea of it. And I think that that's something that might be really interesting to keep exploring and to keep having villains like that. Because it's so formulaic to have this person's possessed by a demon. We need to fix it. Oh, and then who is the demon? We figured it out. How do we exorcise it? Great.
Right. Actually,
Yes.
paralleling this episode, I will say that the preacher who took the angel's wing, I think he thought he was doing right. And it's kind of all, it's in the same vein.
Yeah.
So I would say that, yes, your appreciation of this episode's villain and that villain are the same because it's conceptually similar.
But that one also was a murderer.
Yep.
Whereas this one was a doctor. I like it. I like that this, it's because he was a murderer and a preacher.
Yeah.
And this one is a doctor and a murderer.
Yeah, one could say a soul doctor.
Okay.
Yeah, don't say that.
I won't.
I tried.
Nope,
It was good.
You failed.
It happens.
That was a big old failure.
Thanks.
You're welcome. I was going to do news and gossip about season 2 news about the possibility of sci-fi, but we already said that.
Yeah.
Look into that, guys. That is a possibility. So I think it might be time to head into predictions.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV.
To be singing that sound. Okay. All right. Next week is the epic season finale. I put those in air quotes because. Okay. The promo. I'm so frustrated. The promo shows that it looks like Papa Midnight put a bounty out on Constantine. Also, Manny is there at some point. I'm sorry. We have been building to a darkness that is rising. Mm-hmm. The darkness should rise. We should see what it is. We should start dealing with it.
Right.
That is a season finale.
Okay.
What we have from the looks of the promo is another episode.
Right.
That happens to be the season finale. I'm frustrated. I wonder how many other people are frustrated. I hope in the comments they're full of people being like, I'm frustrated. That's what I want.
Just that's it. Well, I mean, yes, it's understandable that they should have some giant swell happen. Mm-hmm. However, I mean, you have to remember that the season itself wasn't planned to be only 13 episodes. Mm-hmm. And so it was essentially the network going, it's only going to be 13 episodes. Do with it what you will. And there have been episodes rearranged and stuff like that to create a cohesive season. Mm-hmm. But, like, I imagine that they had planned on episode 16, you know, we get all brujeria and all the time. Mm-hmm. But sometimes things don't work out that way. It'll give you a good reason to watch season 2, though, because maybe season 2 will be nothing but brujeria. Mm-hmm. And if they do get to go on to sci-fi, then they'll get to do everything that they want to do with the amount of darkness that they would like. Network TV doesn't really allow for that kind of depth or darkness. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think being on cable will serve them really well.
All right. Before my prediction, we have some questions and predictions from the chat roll.
Nice.
We have a lot. Everybody's really getting into it.
Did anyone say I'm frustrated?
Not yet. The people are still typing. But
okay.
Retro Outside the Box asks, do you think it'll be Manny who creates the Spectre?
That would be interesting. Because we got a glimpse of him earlier in the season, but there was no real indication of him finally becoming that. It was just more of a nod. Yeah. So I think, especially with Manny becoming more humanized, I think he would be inclined to do so.
Yeah, I agree with Tauri. I have nothing to add. That I have no idea. I'm just frustrated.
Well, you got your wish. Rollkeeper says they only got 13 episodes, so yeah, it's frustrating.
Yeah, thank you.
Retro Outside the Box also predicts, or maybe predicts that... What if Manny is a nickname for short for Michael as the Archangel?
So that was suggested early on, and I think the reason I think that actually might be possible, aside from Manny Michael, that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
But in this episode, when Zed sees Manny in Dr. Bob Carroll's body,
yeah,
he goes, "You would know me as Manny," and I was like, she would know him as Manny. What would others know him as? Michael? Maybe that's what happened in my head.
Right.
So, great prediction. I think that's a definite possibility, especially because there are no angels named Manny.
No.
That's not a thing. But Michael makes sense, and I would love to see that. And I can't think of another angel that it might be.
Right.
2 more things.
Yes.
Ryan, he says not so much a prediction, but he does want Dr. Fate to appear.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
And duh.
And Boo69B says, I think Papa Midnight is going to die, and I hope the big evil shows up.
Boo 69Bs. I disagree. I don't think Papa Midnight will die. I think he's important for the story.
Yeah.
And I think he's important for the Constantine world.
Yeah.
And I don't think that we're going to get our evil next week.
Though it would be cool if, and maybe this can be my prediction, in that, like, maybe in the midst of him trying to kill Constantine, the big bad does come in, and he, like, joins Team Constantine, because everyone knows that's what I want.
Is Papa Midnight and Constantine.
Papa Midnight on Team Constantine. I need it, I want it, I have to have it. So that would be a nice way to jump into a new season where it's like, all right, enemies become friends to fight this greater good or greater evil, and then the next season comes in on them probably time skipped into a ravaged world.
Okay. I like those predictions.
Yeah.
I predict that I will be frustrated next week. I predict that I will be very unhappy and frustrated.
Boo 69Bs agrees with you. It's really frustrating.
Yes. I just want Boo 69Bs to agree with me all the time.
I'm sure you'll be obliged.
Yeah. Awesome. My prediction is actually that I will be frustrated. I don't know what's going to happen. I think it's going to be a filler episode almost, with some epic battle that may be a cliffhanger.
Right. Do you think that they should have kept the Brujeria reveal until this episode? Like, do you think that it would have been better if they would have held off at the mid-season finale and saved it for now?
That's an excellent question. I think that so that the mid-season finale would have been the season finale, and we wouldn't get the other one till the other half of it, because we get the reveal in the first half, right?
Yeah.
And then he gets shot, and we think he's gonna die.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been so much more. Like, I would have been so angry that it ended on a cliffhanger like that, but that is how you end a season.
Right.
You end it with a reveal and us wanting more.
That's true.
Then again, I'm always saying that if you don't think you're going to continue, wrap it up.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're going to get neither a cliffhanger nor a wrap up. We will get neither next week.
Okay. It'll be just like a return to form. I hope that they surprise you. I hope that they surprise us all. Because I mean,
me too.
Yeah.
I obviously hope that I'm wrong. Yeah, I want to clarify that. This is what I think because I'm a pessimist and I'm terrible.
Right.
But I really hope that I'm wrong and that it's something amazing and wonderful. That's what I want. Yeah. Okay. Chat roll has one last thing.
Yep, this is the last one. It's your favorite. Boo69B said,
Hi.
what if Papa Midnight is the big evil?
Ah, that would be so good.
I was like, Tauri, take it away.
It.
Yeah.
But I would only love it after they become friends, because I really want them to become friends. I'm not going to lie. But I think that would be great, because he's an established character that we've seen multiple times, and people like Papa Midnight.
Yeah.
So why not have him, if he's not the big bad, like have him be an agent of the big bad? Like and for anyone who's watched Teen Titans, there's a moment when the big bad becomes a servant of an even greater bad.
Yeah.
And I loved that, and I think that would be great if Papa Midnight could do it.
On the other hand, I think it would be awesome if he is the big bad or a servant of the big bad, and that in the future, they then have to overcome that to become friends. Similar, I'm going to throw in a different show completely, Once Upon a Time, where Regina was the evil queen, all, 3 seasons? And then finally, they were like, we need to team up with her. We're BFFs now. I don't know what that voice is. It's been 4 seasons. No spoilers. No, if you haven't started watching that show, it is your fault.
That's true.
Yeah.
Though I like to imagine that there are people in the chat roll who are like, oh man, after this show's done, I'm going to go catch up on all of Once Upon a... Aw.
Yeah, you should.
They should, yeah, it's good.
4 seasons.
I enjoy it.
Okay, on that note, thank you everyone in the chat roll. Thank you everyone who's on iTunes and YouTube and SoundCloud. We're in other places. Great. Thank you guys so much. We are so excited to be back next week. Hopefully Isaac will be here for this season finale. Tauri, tell the people where they can tweet you and find you online.
You can find me on Twitter at TauriJ. That's TaurijAY. You can also find me here on AfterBuzz TV on panels such as The Flash, Arrow, The 100, and Grimm.
You have to think about that. You can find me online at yael.tv. That's YAEL.tv. There you'll find out about all the shows I do here, including Grimm, Switched at Birth, SVU, which is taking a little hiatus right now, and King of the Nerds. Yes, you can find me there. Also, I'm on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Google+, Pinterest, pretty much any social media, Tumblr. But you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Yael Tygiel. That's YaelTygiel. And we will see you next week for the epic finale of Constantine.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.